So to start our basic cymbal technique guide, I can start by going over our four main positions. So we have set, and this is our first power stance. We don't want our cymbals against our body because when we march they'll go like this, and we don't want them super far out. A comfortable amount away from our body, and our arms are slightly cocked back. And you really want to check if you're cupping your butt or if they're offset like this. Just look in the mirror for that. So this is set, and then this is our hi-hat position. You're about 1/2 inch offset, and you have a slight angle. Make sure that your arms aren't against your body. And then you just hinge right here to play your hi-hat. I do like having the slight angle. I don't want completely flat, and I don't want super vertical. Depending on your arm length and size, it might rest on your left forearm and it might not. So that's hi-hat. And then for port, we have a 2-finger gap, and you want to think about a seatbelt angle going from your top left shoulder to your bottom right hip, like this. And notice how it's not super close to my body. I'm pushing out in that position. And another good way to think about this is put your hand right here by your sternum, and you want to push straight out. And that'll give you that good port angle. So I'm here, and I'm pushing straight out. That's port. And for vertical, you want to think about also pushing away from your body, but you want the knots to be at your eye-nose angle right here, or level rather. Your upper arms are going to be parallel to the ground, and what you're going to adjust is your forearms to make sure that the knots do end up at your eye level, like this. You notice I'm pushing out? Yeah, it really looks weak, and it's not safe if you have them really close to your face. A good push out, and that's vertical. So we have set, hi-hat, port, vertical. Those are our four main positions, and we'll go over some sounds now. So remember that offset for a hi-hat, and then you'll just hinge and play like that. And then this is body tap position. We have a 2-finger gap between our cymbals. Notice how my shoulders aren't super near my ears. There's a lot of negative space there. And my arms aren't flaring out. It's just real comfortable sitting at your sides. And to play a body tap, you just hit your right cymbal into your left, and then you can reset here. These are supposed to be smaller sounds. And then from here you can also prep for your punch. And to do a punch prep, you are going to click both of your hands out. Your left hand is going to barely come off your body in the same angle as you are in for body tap, and your right one is going to rotate out to match it, like so. And a good double check for this is my right hand is no farther out than my right hip, and the same thing for my left hand and my left hip. So this is what it's going to look like correctly when I pop out, and this is what it looks like when my hands are way too far past my hips. See how wide that is? My hands are way past my hips here, and it just doesn't look good. So make sure that's your double check for that, and that your cymbals are parallel to each other right in front of you. And to play a punch, you're going to bring your right cymbal into your left, hitting about 2 inches down, and then you're going to bring everything in at the same time. Click out, and then click back in into body tap. Don't forget that 2-finger gap. So that's a punch and how to prep for it. And then you can also play a zing down here. You want to get your fingers off to get the pretty zing sound, but you want to still control your cymbal by pushing with the palms of your hands, and you're just going to dig in a couple inches in, let it ring out, and then bring it back in. Some people like to zing all the way to punch prep position. Some people just like to zing where the right cymbal goes vertical like that, and then bring it back in. Just depends on the note. And then from port, you can do a basic prep for a couple different notes. So you're here, and your left hand is going to press against your left forearm, and you don't want to change the levels of that. So you're at port, and you're just going to push it into your forearm, and your right hand is going to go slightly up at a 45, like that. So together, it's going to look like that. Notice how my right cymbal is ready to make contact with my left, about 2 inches in, like this. And from here I can play a crash choke as well as a port crash. So for a crash choke, I'm going to do that prep, and I'm going to make contact, and then I'm going to immediately pancake it in, and then bring it into my body to choke off the sound. So it's prep, choke, like that. And for a port crash, you're going to do the exact same prep. You're going to make contact, and then you're going to let your right cymbal push your left cymbal straight into this position, and then you just click your right cymbal back into port. And that's your double check. If your left cymbal has to move a lot when you reset, that means it moved way too much the first time when you crashed, and you need to secure that a little bit more. So again, for a port crash, you're going to prep, you're going to make contact and push, comfortable extension of your right arm, not too much, and then you're just going to click your right one back into port. And then for vertical, crashes differ a lot with different lines, but what I like to do is just do a V prep into a crash and then do a follow through with that. And what I mean by that is, say I crash on 1, my prep for a vertical crash would be a V on 8. Notice I still have that 2-finger gap at the bottom. I'm crashing on 1, so this is 8. Crash through on 1 into this A position. I still have that 2-finger gap at the top. And then I'm going to do my reset, which is V set. So together, if I crashed on 1, it'd be 5, 6, 5, 6, 7, 8, crash, 2, 3. Notice how I'm not floating down and up. Everything is on the same level. So watch that when you do vertical crashes. And also from vertical, you can do a punch and a tap, just like you would at port. So remember or from body tap position, when you're doing a punch, you're popping out like this. You're doing the same thing from vertical, except you're rotating your hands into that position. Rotate, then you're going to hit and then into this position. Notice how my arms aren't super far out. They're pretty close to my body. I'm keeping my elbows close, and I still have that 2-finger gap on the top. And then for tapping, we can just tap like this. You can rotate your right hand. Lots of different ways to do that one as well. You can also zing from up there, lots of different ways. I think that's it. Remember our 4 main positions: set, hi-hat, port, and vert, and then all of our sounds. Oh yeah, and then we also do sissuck, sorry. So you start from port, and what you're going to do is our normal sizz, you just let your fingers come off your cymbal and you push together, and then it'll be your sizz. But for a sissuck, you're going to start that sizz, but you're going to push your right hand out, and for the suck, you're going to bring it back in. Sizz, suck. Sizz, suck. And now I think that's all of it. Thanks, guys.